Right. Good evening, everyone. Guess what time it is? It's time for the Ruby Girl Talk. And guess who is your host tonight? Me, your favorite Ruby Girl. If you missed that, where have you been? What are you thinking? Every week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, your favorite Ruby Girl is on with a phenomenal, dynamic, amazing, outstanding guest. And tonight, guess who I have? I have Dr. Tsitsi Hungwe. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. We already established a friendship already. So, Doctor, thank you so much for being on the Ruby Girl Talk tonight. I am so excited for us to sit down and have this conversation and the things that you're going to be sharing with the audience tonight. So, audience, if you're one of them people that are on time, that means you are watching this live right now. So, that means that you got your share finger ready. This is your share finger right here. So, no, okay, right here. If you got a mouse, this is your share finger. I need you to share this video. Sharing is always caring. So the more you share this video, the more people lives that you can impact. People make it so complicated how you can change people's lives, how you can impact their lives. Sometimes it's just sharing a video from somebody else or sharing something that you heard from somebody else. And you never know the seeds that you are planting. You think, I just shared that video. And then you hear somebody say, you know what? I needed that. I needed to hear that. So tonight we want you to share this video, and then also Dr. Sissy, did I say it? Sissy, Dr. Sissy. I want you to go on my page, find this video, and you share it with your people also. You thought those instructions was just for my audience, right? So while she's going to share that video, let me just give you a little commercial and tell you about Ruby Girl. Ruby Girl comes from Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above the price of a ruby. So, ladies, that makes you rare, virtuous, and valuable. An empowered woman knows her worth and her value. You can go to rubygirl.net. You can connect with me. So, let me tell you what you're going to find at rubygirl.net. You're going to find my ebook. I finally wrote a handbook. It's not big, y'all. It's 10 powerful pages. And so you just go into my store, see the ebook, get the ebook. It's going to help you develop more characteristics of a Ruby girl and help you understand how powerful that Proverbs 31 and 10 woman is and how easily attainable it is for you to be just like her. I know she seems like superwoman, but she really not. There's super in each and every one of us. And every Thursday is Ruby Girl Day. Yay. So what we do, Dr. Sissy, is that we put on our Ruby Girl shirts and we rock it. We go out into the world and let everybody know about Ruby Girl Day. I post about Ruby Girls that are amazing. And this Thursday, you'll definitely get a post about how amazing you are as a Ruby Girl, because now you're in the family, you're in the tribe with the right vibe. So we embrace Dr. Sissy. So also, make sure you go on there. If you want to be on the Ruby Girl Talk, go on my website, look for the Ruby Girl Talk Show tab, and get on my calendar and have some fun like me and Dr. Sissy are going to have tonight. So, Dr. Sissy, will you introduce yourself, please, to my audience?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. So I am Dr. Tsitsi, and I'm just so excited to be here. So I am a dentist by trade. I'm also an international speaker, consultant. I wear many hats, a trainer, as well as a career transition coach. And so today I'm here to add value to those who are listening today.
I like that. I love when a guest give that powerful introduction. It pulls you right in. So thank you so much. So she said, did you notice everything that she said she was? She said she's a dentist, she's a consultant, and she's also a career coach. So most people these days are serial entrepreneurs. And in case you don't know what a serial entrepreneur is, which I know you do because most of y'all that watch this show are serial entrepreneurs. It's an entrepreneur that has that operates in different functions, a coach, a speaker, a this and a that. And so you might think we're chasing a lot of rabbits, but if you stop and look, everything is connected. And then eventually, sometimes we do this and that, and eventually we honed on. We get honed on one thing. We get focused on one thing, but that's okay. God has gifted an entrepreneur to do multiple things. We are how can I say, we're multitaskers. There we go. We task on everything. And then the good thing is God has blessed us to be good at the different things that we do. So, all right, Miss Tsitsi, as a coach, let's start with a coach. I like to go by roles. So tonight we're going to start with your coach role. You have a DIS certification. This is why I'm so excited about it tonight. Y'all, she's going to explain to you what a DIS certification assessment is, and she's going to go over what DISC actually means. So I want you to explain it to the audience, but first I want them to tell you, I want you to tell them, are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Just give us a little bit about your personality.
Absolutely. That is, I would love to talk about this. This is one of my favorite things. So, start off with the first question. Am I an extrovert or an introvert? I wonder what the audience would think.
Y'all put in the chat right quick what you think she is.
What do you think?
Yeah, is she a introvert, or do you think she's an extrovert? Let me go out there real quick and see if we got somebody in the house tonight. All right. So far, we have one person in the house. Is she an introvert or an extrovert? Tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think.
Okay.
Drum roll.
All right. They took too long. We only got a few.
Yeah, go ahead.
We only have a few minutes on our show, y'all. Y'all be over there typing with one finger. So go ahead and just let them know. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I am an introvert, actually.
Wow.
But, as you can see, the energy that I'm giving off here, I have the ability to connect. I think it's about connection. And I feel like when I'm, connecting in this capacity, I have the ability to kind of just turn it on. But actually, let's talk a little bit about, this disc and my introduction to it. And first of all, I want us to talk about, what it is. So I am, a behavioral analysis consultant. And so with that, one of the tools, that a client would have the opportunity to get as far as an assessment working with me as an early career transition coach in my group coaching program would be to be able to get this assessment. So DISC, D-I-S-C, that is an acronym. And so that's going to be an assessment tool that's going to give you a big picture as to your communication style as well as your personality style. So I'm a visual person, and also I like bullet points. Keep it simple, keep it practical. So, actually my second mom, who is Angela Hooper Minifield, she was just on the stage, and we're going to talk about this later, the leadership experience tour, and she really just crushed it on stage. And I felt like she really summarized DISC pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and give some bullet points on what it is, just for the audience to gain some awareness for those who may not be familiar. So with DISC, this is an assessment tool that's going to help you to better understand yourself, and as well as how you can better connect with others. And so understanding yourself, understanding communication styles is going to help you not only in your family, but also in your work environment and in different types of settings as well. And so let's start off with the D. So I would say, let's think about D. When we think about D, we're thinking about dominant personalities, someone who's direct, outspoken, and I want to give a disclaimer out here. No personality style is better than the other. And so this is one of the personality styles. And so for the audience, I want you to kind of think about potentially, what type of person you may have in your family or somebody that you may work with that may have that D style in there. And then we have our I. Our I is going to be the life of the party. Our influencer, somebody who's going to be more engaging. And so that's what we see right over there. Somebody who's really enthusiastic. I know people like that who are, you're in the room and they're just like the life of the party. But also it's a very good characteristic when you're trying to look at somebody that can influence people, as it says on here, charming, and just overall just brings that energy. And then we have our S's. Our S's are going to be those steady people. I feel like I channel a little bit of that, on the job myself. Steady, supportive, stable. We all have that. And so we're looking at that, our peacemakers. And those are some of our, people that we may know in our lives. And then we have our final one. The irony is actually the last, but not the least. And actually, this is who I am. I am a high C. So our high C is going to be our detailed-oriented, consistent. For those who know me, I'm quite analytical, And it does serve me and has served me to become a dentist. You'll find the details that are required. I work in millimeters. I don't know if y'all know how small the teeth are. The teeth are really tiny. So I got to pay attention to the details, make sure I'm working on the right tooth. Yes, so that's who we have. And then you find that I myself being a C, it's a lot of questions. So the funny story, I do have a funny story. So I was in this boot camp at one point, the Black Entrepreneurs Institute boot camp, and we have some homework assignments over the course of time. And I'm just going to give a little short summary. I like to ask a lot of questions. I'm also inquisitive. And at one point, I'm following up through an email, and I ask one question, which leads down to a rabbit hole. And before you know, it was like 15 different questions. It was just like overwhelming for the receiver of the email. And they're like, no, this is just for you to get general overview. Like, you don't have to go into all these details. But it was just for my information. I didn't feel like this was stressful to ask all these questions, but I'd become aware, given personality styles, to be aware that we're not all wired the same. So how that can be perceived. So that's just one example using myself of how that tool can be used to better understand yourself and also understand we're not all wired the same way.
Okay, so I have a few questions. All right. So this stands for dominance, influence, steadiness, and say it for me, consciousness. Did I say that right? Consciousness?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it stands for that. And so it's funny how you talk about like the D personalities, and like you said, none is better than the other. We all need diverse personalities to get along, because can you imagine if everybody was dominant? That means everybody will always want to have their way. I got to have my way. I got to be dominant, blunt, outspoken. I mean, we just be hurting each other's feelings left and right. And so, like you said, influence, like I want y'all to figure out, what am I in this personality too? Am I a D? Am I S? Am I C? S? I'm sorry, am I D, I, S, or C? I like steadiness because these are people that are calm. They don't like to be rushed, and I worked with a person like that. She was very thorough, but she was very slow at everything she did. And then the C one, they love independent. They demand the details. And that's what you were saying. You was like, you need all the details. And sometimes when I work with people with different personalities, for a minute, I'll be irked, like, why they asking me all these questions? Why they need all this? It's just really plain. Am I not explaining it? But this helped me understand. It's not that they're not understanding. That's just how they process things. So this how it looks is, at this too. This is how people process things. Some people are dominant. They're up on it, got to get it done. Let's get this done. There's no sense in us sitting here. Let's go get it. Then some people work steadily along, like, okay, like a galloping horse at a certain rhythm. But like you said, we all somewhere fall within this. And then some of us can be more than one personality, right? We can be a D and an I and an S and an I and a D and a C.
And you can have a combination. And here's the thing, we'll have different intensities, is what I'll call it. It's a range, but you'll have that one dominant style. And that's really the awareness that you gain by doing the assessment yourself.
Okay. So when you become a client with Dr. Tsitsi, you're going to go through this assessment. So this is going to give her information on how you process information, how is your coaching style also. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's going to let her know what works for you and how to interact with you even better. If she knows that you're a C style, she's going to give you a lot of information, because she was like, I know this person need all the details, so I'm going to be a little bit more detailed with this person. She know if you steady, she said, you're going to have a calm approach to everything, where you might see somebody that's dominant, be real hyped about something. That steady person might come in and be calm about it. So I love this. This is very unique, Dr. Tsitsi, and very informative for your client and also for you too, because if they know your style, then they totally understand, like, okay, she gave me a lot of details, but they understand that's just you. So it's really great to take this assessment. So thank you. Anything else you want to talk about on the DISC?
Yeah, and I wanted to say, actually, this assessment tool also helps you, because a lot of times without awareness, I can speak for myself, I've had a tendency, and sometimes we all have a tendency to communicate potentially with lack of awareness, how we would want to communicate, with a focus on how we want to communicate. But I think what the DISC assessment does in this tool for yourself, but also an awareness of other people's personality styles, it helps you so that you can also tailor your communication to address, for the needs of your family member or, your child or whoever it may be, so that you can understand, if you're talking to a certain person, okay, this is probably potentially the best way for me to have this, take this approach. It's not necessarily being inauthentic. In fact, it's also just about gaining an awareness and being able to, have that bridging as well with communication.
So this is kind of like like the love languages, knowing somebody's love language and in order to love them better, knowing somebody how can I say this assessment to know how to communicate with them better. I think it's all about knowing a person. I think a lot of miscommunication, a lot of anger, a lot of strife come because people don't understand each other. And then sometimes we can force who we are on somebody else. Why are you not dominant like me? Why are you not steady like me? Why are you not like me? When God made all of us to be unique and different. And I think we have to embrace our differences too. I think we all want to kind of blend in, but we're not supposed to blend in. I always say this, we're supposed to stand out. So I just wonder, let me see if anybody put in the chat. We're really quiet tonight. Let's see here. Maybe I need to refresh. I just want to see what people put in the chat. What do you think my DISC assessment is? And I want you to put yours in there. We got a comment here. We got a comment. Good evening. That's our comment. Good evening. So I want you to put in the chat, what is your DISC assessment? Are you is it dominance? Is it influence? Are you an influencer? Are you steady? I mean, you can put more than one. You could be a D and an S. And then are you conscious? I'm just going to put conscious inches. I'm trying to say it right.
I would say for that C, we're looking at, because it's going to be, which one was which one for the audience? Oh, what was the one that they were talking about? The detailed in me would, I can't remember, thinking more about, I like to think of the word, consistent or
Yes.
compliant.
Uh-huh.
Those are some of the helpful ones. I try to remember those C's. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
it's very.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right, y'all. Put in the chat what you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. We're gonna stop sharing. All right. So I have this question for you. We kind of talked about this, thought about it. Do you think entrepreneurs switch up their dispersonality, like somebody that's steady, has steadiness, they become a D, meaning being dominant, be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to their business? But I think this can apply for the workplace too, because I work with some people that's a D in the workplace, but then outside of the job, they're totally different. So do you think people adapt their styles depending on where they at, who they're dealing with?
Hmm. I love that question. Actually, that's kind of a like, aha question right there. So, what I will say on this is that we can possess some degree, of each style, as I had mentioned, right? We have D, I, SC, and there can be that combination. And so I think the best way to describe that is given different situations and environments, having that awareness that potentially somebody, who may be a supervisor, in a let's say they're in a supervisor position during their workday, or even, entrepreneurship, we're just kind of generalizing in general. In that specific environment and situation, someone may be potentially, maybe, more D, at work. Let's just use that analogy. And so maybe when they step at home, they may, we'll say, channel or move more towards an S. That's just an example. And so I guess what I'm saying is that, there's that combination. And I think depending on the situations and the environment, there can be, potentially differentiations, potentially. Yeah.
And you know what? I think when you say environment, I think about when I live down south, people are friendly. Hey, how you doing, ma'am? How you doing? But up here in Detroit, you can't just be walking around like that. You have to, like, if I'm out in public, I have a more do not approach me look. Like, don't play with me, don't approach me, don't try to rob me. You don't know what I'm carrying type of look. But if I'm down south, I'm more like open, more relaxed. Like, hey, I just, just flow with everybody else. So I think we as humans are very adaptable to our environment, but the disassessment really wants you to find your core self. You know how people say, I've lost myself, I really don't know who I am. And I really believe that at times because we adapt to the people, the environment, the situation so much that at the end of the day, we're like, who am I really? Because at work, I act like this, but at home, I'm like this, but I'm in church, I'm like this. We can go through the whole this in one day. But like you say, we have to find the core of who we are. And so, how do we find the core of who we are? That's a question. That's a bonus question.
Interesting. How do we find the core of who we are? I feel like that potentially, is more of there's some depth to that.
Uh-huh.
Um, I believe that within each of us, and this is more of an overview thought that I have, first impression, within each of us, I believe within myself, within you, Dr. Karen, within every viewer out there, there's always, no matter how far we are along in our years, there's always that little boy or that little girl within us. And I think for sure, because my dad is in that cognitive learning sciences, psychology, and maybe that's where some of my analytical, perspectives come from. I remember him talking about this idea that once people start going into their middle school years and high school years, those are formative years. And so whether it's challenges that we face or other things that we go through, I think sometimes potentially, with lack of a better way, we try to adapt to our situations, and sometimes we lose a little bit of ourselves. And it doesn't mean we're losing the best of us, But I think staying grounded in like that youthful joy, as you can see my energy here, this is who I am. And like, I'm just going to be transparent with the audience. Like, I'm turning 33 this year, but like I channeled, that youthful joy. And so that's why people, when I'm walking through, this is my authentic self. But there are times I face challenges in my life and just like, where's that joy? Where's that smile? So I think tapping into that joy and tapping into like that little girl, little boy will bring us back into that authenticity.
And you know what? You said earlier that you're an introvert. And it seems like in this society, being an introvert is a bad thing. And so, but it's really just where you get your energy from. Like, I'm an introvert. All right, y'all, don't be falling out, talking about Kate done told a lie on her Facebook show. None of that. I am actually an introvert. And I'm going to tell you why. When I go home, I'm drained. Like I told you, Dr. Sissy, it's like I be on a stage all day. Yes, how are you? I'm good. Oh, you're so cute. And then I get home, be like, oh God, whew, I made it through the day, and I'm actually literally mentally drained. I will sit like on the floor for like 30 minutes to an hour, just like gathering my strength. And if I'm upset or anything, I don't want to talk to people. Like, people like come to me and share. I don't want to. I want to go somewhere quiet, scream, holler, talk to God, and then maybe if it weigh on me too much, then I go talk to somebody. But I'm actually an introvert, but I know how to function and I wouldn't say pretend, but function in the role of an extrovert. At work, I speak to everybody. I'm always talking to somebody, meeting new people and everything, but it wears me out. Before an extrovert, that's energy for them. They like, oh, I love it. I gotta be around people. I do not have to be around people. Give me a good book, give me an old TV show, give me my cats, and I'm good. So, being an extrovert, an introvert, will you agree, is we're misunderstood?
Absolutely. I feel I've gained an awareness as somehow the people around me have been talking a little bit more about introverts and all of that. I don't know if the new thing right now, but I would say definitely some misunderstanding for my own self, but also a misunderstanding, potentially misunderstood in different settings. But what I will say is, I gained an awareness in the last year that being an introvert does enable me to read people, because having been as a young child, kind of like very like, let me analyze the situation first, some of it is a little bit of the C in me, but also just really kind of taking that time in a group setting in particular. I'm just going to give an example. I could be in a group setting, I have these, different memberships groups I'm in, and sometimes I'll attend and I'll just be there. If they call upon me, I'll say something, but I am better off talking to you one-on-one. And my family can attest to that. My second mom can attest to that. I just do better. And so what I do is I set up a one-on-one. You know what happens during the one-on-one? People think they're logging in to talk to me for 30 minutes. They end up on the Zoom call for like an hour or two, because I can connect, and I can read, I'm looking at the body language, I'm listening, for different cues. And so I think that's just been able to be like a strength for me. So I see it as a strength now, as opposed to like, oh, I need to be more like Jane over here or Judy. I don't know who Judy or Jane is, but those are just examples. That's all to say that it can be a strength. What do you think about that?
Wow. You're right. I'm good at reading the room. I'm good at seeing if I'm talking to you and I see you. Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to end this conversation. Some people can't read the room. They will keep yakking. And, I'll give clues. I'll get this blank look on my face. I mean, I have perfected the blank look because people be like, why you look blank? Because I'm trying to give you a signal to be quiet. You don't wear my brain out. But you're right. Introvert people assess people and situation. I can read people because I might deal with you and you think you got over on me. I already read you. I understood you. I'll let you think I don't know, but I really know. And I study people. I'm quiet because I'm studying you, because I'm like, I see you this way, but what really are you trying to camouflage or hide? Or are you really this person that I see in front of me? So you're right. It's a strength. And me, I was on a group call. I waited until everybody basically had left the Zoom and it was over before I asked my questions. I do not like asking questions in a group. I just don't. I just feel like I'm going to ask something dumb or something like that. So I kind of wait till like maybe I'm the first one to ask the question before everybody gets started, or I'm at the end when everybody's kind of leaving. So I agree with you. So what's going to happen? We're going to stop for a break, Dr. Tsitsi, because it's time for the second part of the show. So I'm going to let you talk to us for 60 seconds. You can talk about your business. You can pull in all your clients that are watching for your coaching program. You can let them know what you really do. Whatever you want to say for 60 seconds, I want you to go ahead, and I'm going to look and see what people have been saying in the chat. So are you ready to blow our minds?
I am ready.
All right, let's go with it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tsitsi. I am a career transition coach. I help early career professionals make their transition to their next chapter with clarity and confidence. And this summer, you do not want to miss it. I am launching a pilot program for students. And in particular, this is going to be for students who are preparing for their next career transition. They could be in school, potentially transitioning into the workforce, or maybe you're in school and you're just transitioning into a new chapter within your schooling. And so I want to just let you know there is an opportunity available today. Go to my website, highermountaintops.com, and join the waiting list so you can be a part of this group coaching opportunity. This is a rare opportunity. I typically work with early professionals, but this summer, do not miss this rare opportunity to join. There will be limited seating. Join this opportunity. I'm calling all undergrad students and up to join the group coaching program this summer.
Amazing. She rocked it, didn't she? Give her some hearts. Give her some hearts. She rocked it, y'all. All right. Thank you, Dr. Tsitsi. Do you hear what she was saying? The urgency of her message. Look, it's not a lot of seats. Do it now. Come on this summer. You want to be a part of this. I heard the excitement. I heard the value of the program. So even if you're not undergrad student, or are you like, well, I don't know if this fit me, somebody out there it fits, and you never know until you have a discovery call with her. So did you gave them your contact information? Could you tell them once again your website? Somebody put in the chat, where's my secretary for the night?
www.highermountaintops.com. So if you want to go to Mountaintops, anybody want to go to Higher Mountaintops today? Yes, go to my website, www.highermountaintops.com.
Great, thank you. So I went and looked in the chat. So we have Angela Hooper Minifield. Oh my God, I feel so honored that she's out in the audience. She says she loved this authenticity is necessary. She said, introverts rule. Yes, we do. We got Ariana out there. Y'all forgive me. Ariana is out there watching. Hey, Ariana. She just spoke on the leadership experience tour. She was just on my show probably, I think 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. So yes, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you. So, all right, this is the second part of our show. So things kind of switch up a little bit. The first half, we talked about the DISC assessment, finding your personality. Are you dominant? Are you influencer? Are you steady? Are you conscious? I'm just going to make it short. Are you conscious? And so we want to talk about the fact that you are, and speaking of personality and speaking of roles, you're a dentist, a coach, and a speaker, which is a diverse portfolio. Now, the shift to coaching and speaking didn't happen until the pandemic. I want you to tell us what caused the shift.
Wow. All right. So in 2021, some actually know this, some people don't. The story is yet to be written, eventually in my memoir. But in 2021, I was at the height of my career. I was getting close to, year 6 in my career. And 2020, I was having a hard time. I thought it was the pandemic. And then 2021, I felt lost. I felt confused. I felt empty in a capacity that I had not felt. When you graduate from dental school, it's like, wow, like I feel like I can take on the world. And it wasn't necessarily a lack of, fun, financially that I felt. I was, I'm a woman of faith. And I found myself in the months, that, kept going through that I couldn't shake this feeling. And so I just want to say that my purpose came from me searching for a new direction. And so I felt that there was something else that I was supposed to do. And I said, is this it? And I felt actually ungrateful. I felt bad for feeling that. But I knew there was something else that I was supposed to do, but I did not know exactly what it was. Long story short, I really, really was very intentional to put myself in a position to receive eventually coaching, mentoring, and networking support. And the hallmark and the turning point was when I joined the Black Entrepreneur Institute in the fall of 2021. And while I joined that boot camp with no awareness of what I actually joined, I just thought, okay, this seems like a good potentially time, something to occupy my time and added value. I came to the realization that I wanted to start this coaching firm now, Higher Mountaintops, to help people to understand that even though you are have accomplished so much, especially those of us in high positions of power, women that are dentists, women that are lawyers, women that are really high accomplished, that there is so much more professionally and personally, and that you are not done. And at some point in our lives, there is something that will tell us within that it's time to move on. And so the vision is that let's move towards that higher and soar. And while there may be sadness and potentially confusion in the middle, you can move from where you are to where you want to be and really rise up to the occasion and use that not only to better yourself, but also getting to the mountaintop. That's another level where you're now adding value to others and thinking about the legacy that you want to leave. And so the hallmark of Higher Mountaintops and the purpose came from my own seeking a new direction, me feeling lost and confused. And so it's all working out together for my good.
That's amazing. That was powerful for what you just said, that being a dentist, even though you're helping people with their teeth, but it's like, how are you really helping people? They're just a patient versus somebody that you transform in their whole life. Yes, you can transform their life, give people a new smile and everything, transform. But I love what you said, that you were trying to find yourself, because a lot of times we think women that are professional, they made it because it's a lot of hard work to get where you want to be at, to be a dentist, to be a doctor, to be a lawyer. It's not like you just go on a job and they train you. You have to be educated. You got to spend the time. You got to really know what you do. So we think that when you get there, you have arrived. So I'm seeing a lot of professional women switching up their speaking, their coaching. Now, where before, if you was a doctor, you was a doctor. If you was a lawyer, you was a lawyer. But it's like now they're understanding there's more than to them than just a profession. Their, how can I put it? Their dentistry or their doctorship. I like that word, doctorship. I make up words. Doctorship is their job. It becomes their job to them, and they want something that'll fulfill that other part of them. Hey, I'm creative. Hey, I'm a good speaker. Hey, I can influence people. So they don't just channel themselves one way. They understand that they can be a entrepreneur. And I think a lot of people are finding themselves in entrepreneurship, because on a job, I can tell you, I've been at my job over 20 years. Just last year, we got a whole new system in. I shared this before. Everything I knew became irrelevant. Now I'm trying to make it relevant without being stuck in the past. Always like, this is how it used to be. I'm trying to use where I had like a capacity, say for 100 cubics of use of my mind. Now I have shrunk it down to 10. The legacy part, the part that I knew, I'm only using 10 of that because I'm also learning new things too. So, but if I'm a business owner, there's no my knowledge is never irrelevant. My knowledge is always expanding. I'm not going to put in a system that I can't use or that wipes out, what I have learned in business. With business, you constantly use what you have learned. That's what I was trying to say, y'all. So yes, I can understand. A lot of people shifted during the pandemic. A lot of people reinvented their lives, did things they never would do, because it's like we understood them, that life is so short, that it can change in a minute. I just really believe God hit the reset button, that we were stuck on the hamster wheel, and God got some of us off of the hamster wheel. We were tired of our lives, but we just didn't know how to shift up out of it. So as a coach, you have early professionals transition in their career, and you truly know because you are transitioning. And tonight on the coaching call, one thing that Sean Fair has said, he said, you can't be coaching somebody to make 500K if you never have. You're being a hypocrite. So tell us more about helping early professionals transition in their career.
Absolutely. I love that. I love everything that you said. It all resonated. I would say helping early professionals, this addressed a pain point, is what I would call it, a challenge. One of the awarenesses that I gained, not only from my own experiences, but also background conversations that I had with others, not only those who were beyond early professionals, but also early professionals, was this challenge of what happened in the middle. So when we're talking about early professionals, I'm helping early professionals prepare, and that's the key word. And that's the reason why Higher Mountaintops is groundbreaking. We're talking about the middle. What happens when you go from A to J? Not the trophy, but helping you move from A to J and prepare you not to just arrive, but when you arrive from A to J, your career transition, you're going to have clarity and confidence and maintain that. So you have the peace of mind that this was the right decision for you. So we're talking about early professionals who may have transitioned from student to professional life, navigating that chapter. We're talking about early career professionals who may be looking to change a job. Maybe you're looking to move back home, but you're struggling with the decision of leaving the familiar to go somewhere else. Because a lot of times we are attached to the familiar, but the nudge is telling us it's time to move on for something better, the higher mountaintop. We're talking about early professionals who are looking to open up their own practice. And we're talking about early professionals who potentially could be looking to start their own company. And I have done so many transitions, not only professionally, as you mentioned, all the accolades and the titles that I have behind me. I am an immigrant. I, immigrated to this country. I have lived in so many states. I have adapted to so many situations. I am the person who understands not only that there can be challenges in the middle, but I have done it all and I am thriving. And so I am here to be there as a steady support system, as an advocate, and as a coach to help early professionals in this time. That's why I'm here.
Amazing. That was deep. And you were talking about early professionals. I got to be honest with you. It's not just the early professionals that feel that way. It's the old professionals. We feel that way too when we're stuck in a job for like 20, 30 years. And then we decide, why not try something new? So we're so used to the familiar. Who wants to be a new employee when you've been the top employee, the senior employee for like 20 years? And now you got to start. It's like going to kindergarten. You just graduated college and everything, and now you got to go sit in preschool again and start all over. That is a hard transition. I can understand the early professional because they haven't got that ground yet of 10, 15, 20, 30 years. But us older professionals, it's the same way with us. But I thank you that you're helping these young professionals, because we were taught, get a job, stay at that job until you retire, get your pension. There's no more pension. There's no more really staying in a job, because they'll lay you off in a minute. So we don't have that stability. What we taught, now we're looking like we was taught wrong. We stayed in jobs that didn't pay enough, and we scraped by just instead of going to get another job. So I commend you for helping these young people have the right mindset about a job and about their career. So, as a motivational speaker, let's go to the next part, the final part, the finale. As a motivational speaker, you were part of the Sean Fair Leadership Experience Tour in October. Y'all know I'm a big fan of Sean Fair, right? So, what was that like? And tell us what you spoke about.
The Leadership Experience Tour, I spoke in October of last year. That is a moment that I will, there's those moments stamped in history for yourself. I would say that was a very pivotal moment for myself, not because of what I delivered and added value necessary, even just for the listeners. And, the nearly 1,200 now, that I've listened all over, through my different platforms. But I would say that there was a lot of personal growth that led up to that particular message. So let me just summarize, and then, we give a little bit, and then the audience can check it out too on my page.
Okay.
The speech was entitled, helping you move from surviving to thriving. So I was speaking on not only my journey moving from student to professional, some of the challenges that came, the victories, but also how you can have a thriving career. I talked a little bit about the importance of mentorship, the importance of just essentially being confident, and basically some of the tools that I provide as a coach for those who are transitioning from student to professional. In summary, many of the things that I speak on, because I always speak on things that I've been through, because I believe what the things that I've been through are for somebody else, right? Yes. Those things that I had been through, in the subsequent, years prior, as well as in the months leading up to me, delivering that speech, I grew very authentically. I had a lot of personal growth in the last couple of years, and it's still, developing, because I always believe we're evolving. And leading up to that, I felt that I found my voice. I also felt that I spoke my truth. And also, I had a strong conviction that this was a message that needed to be shared. And I don't believe that this message was something that for sure was just for that moment. That moment will definitely, be stamped, in my book as a pivotal moment. And the story is yet to still be told. But yes, that's what I have to say about that. The Leadership Experience Tour enabled me as well to be able to meet the wonderful, Dr. Karen here. And many others. That's what I will say about that.
Yes, and it's funny. We were there at the October show, and I told her, I said, I vaguely remember you. I said, but I probably was so busy on that 3D booth doing videos, and I was supposed to be working at the tour, but I ended up the majority of my time, don't tell Sean, the majority of my time was spent on the 3D booth with videos. My phone is full of videos from there, but it's just the Leadership Experience Tour. I tell everybody, if your first opportunity as a speaker, it's not that just Sean just going to put you on the stage. Sean is going to teach you how to perform once you're on the stage, and it's personal growth there. My business did not blow up did not become international until I connected to Sean Fair. Doors did not open for me like they did until I connected to Sean Fair. Once you in his network, he always wants you to be successful. So I'm glad that you stepped out on faith and decided to speak on the Sean Fair Leadership Experience Tour. So Dr. Tsitsi, I'm going to let you give us a 2-minute closeout. I'm going to be showing them, I'm going to be like Vanna White. I'm going to be showing them your lovely website as you give us a 2-minute closeout. Let me know when you're ready. Let me get ready to share the screen screen. Okay. Let's start with the home page. All right. All right. Check you out. Check you out. All right. Go right ahead.
All right. So I always like to close out and speak to the viewers. Hey, everyone. And I would like to just, provide words of encouragement. That's just who my mother raised me to be. And that's really who she is. My mother, Mama Chipo, she is a giving person, and it's all about adding value. So I just want to say to the listeners that you look at me today and you see the titles and all of that. But, I always say, even when I do a speaking engagement, whether I'm, interfacing with youth or whoever, that the most important thing that I would like to have people take away is that I am a human being just like you, and I have taken many of the steps. Cedric Lafleur, who is one of my mentors, talks about consistently taking action. It's about taking action. And the thing about it is there are times in our life when we are going to feel fear. I know we don't want to talk about that. There are times in our life we are going to feel fear, but do it anyways. Take action. Take action. Take action if you're an early professional, feeling a nudge that it is time to move on. If you are feeling a nudge today that something is pulling you in a new direction, the biggest thing that we don't want to live with is regret. Follow that. Take some time to listen to that inner voice, because sometimes it's not as loud as the voice that's telling us you can't do it. So I want to encourage you all, take action. Do it anyways, even if you're fearful. And I want to encourage you that anything that you set your mind to do, all things are possible. If I can do it, a young girl from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa, immigrated to this country in the early 2000s and is now living across, in Northern America, in the United States of America, impacting lives not only across this country, but I will be leaving my footprint when it's all said and done across the globe. If I can do it, you can do it. But as Cedric Lafleur says, take action. So those are my closing words. And reach out to me today. If you're a student, if you're an early professional, join the waiting list. Join the waiting list today. If you are feeling that nudge, you need some help, you're feeling confused, that very same emotion that I described in 2020, had I had the awareness much, much earlier, I would have taken it in a heartbeat to start coaching. Because even the greatest of the greatest, Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, all of those people had some support systems, because no one is self-made. And so those are my closing remarks and words of encouragement for the audience today.
That was totally amazing. And I hope you taken what she said to heart. So I want to thank you, Dr. Tsitsi, for being on the Ruby Girl Talk Show tonight. I thank you for sharing out of your heart the encouragement for us, for everyone. Even if you, like I said, is not an early professional, what she said about the fears of stepping out of your comfort zone and trying something new, she has proven to us that it can be done, and you can be more successful out of your comfort zone than in your comfort zone. Because out of your comfort zone, there's so much more that God has for you. You might be happy with that one marble you have in your hand, but God has like 4 or 5 more beautiful marvels for you. So don't limit yourself. Don't think that just because you're comfortable that God is okay with you being in that comfortable spot. If you think about it, the Lord Jesus Christ himself, when he was on earth, he was in a lot of uncomfortable situations. He didn't just deal with people that was just for him. He dealt with the Pharisees and Sadducees that were against him, that were looking to trip him up, to look to hearing, to see if he was going to say something that would prove himself wrong. But he was so clever in his responses. And so we need to be clever in how we come out of our comfort zone so that we can leave a legacy. We want to come out and do the right things that God has called us to do, because like Dr. Tsitsi said, everything that she's been through, now she's using it to help somebody else. Everything that she needed, she became that coach that she didn't have, that she was looking for. So sometimes you have to become what you actually needed in the past and that you need in the future. So as you are becoming, you're also helping yourself grow. So in the comfort zone, you don't grow. In the comfort zone, you know what you know. But when you step out of it, it's scary, y'all. I know it's scary when you step out that comfort zone and you have to push yourself to the limits. It don't feel good. It's not supposed to feel good. When you got in the comfort zone, you had to feel uncomfortable first before it became comfortable. So I just encourage everybody that's out there listening to connect with Dr. Tsitsi. At least give her a discovery call. At least give her the honor of that. So I just want to thank you so much for being part of the Ruby Girl Talk. You really educated me. You educated our audience. You brought value to your business. Higher mountaintops. Did I say it right? Okay.
Yes.
Higher mountaintops. At this time of the night, my brain be operating on one cell, y'all. But I want y'all to book with me in the audience. I want you to book with me. I want you to come on my show. Don't wait for me to give you a personal invite, because I will be on Facebook all day inviting people to come on the show. So this is your personal invite. I want you to book with me on my talk show. Go to rubygirl.net, look for the talk show tab, pick a package and book with me. We can have fun. We can get your business out there and we can connect with some people. So thank you, Dr. Tsitsi. Y'all reach out to her. Let her know how good she was tonight, how she blessed you. Put it in the comments. And then if you came in late, go ahead and watch the Ruby Girl show. And I just remember something, Dr. Tsitsi. I forgot to record this on Zoom. So we're going to see y'all. I don't know if y'all know, but for my last 3 shows, I've been having issues. First 2 got reported inappropriate. And my last one did not load, period. But we're speaking and declaring that whatever those blocks are, they are unblocked, because her message needs to get out there. So, all right, Dr. Tsitsi. All right, audience. Y'all have a great and fantastic week. See you back here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, always on Wednesdays with your favorite Dr. Ruby Girl. So, all right, have a great and wonderful evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.